Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Gibraltar. Now this vessel here, you may recognize, if you've been watching the channel since March at least, you may recognize this vessel. This is Yacht Axioma. Now this vessel was arrested here in Gibraltar by the Admiralty under a court order from JP Morgan, who arrested the vessel apparently for money owed to that bank, and the vessel's been here ever since. So what we're going to do today is a little bit different, I know, but I'm in Gibraltar, we're traveling, so I thought while I'm in Gibraltar I'll come and have a look at the vessel. We'll go and have a little bit of a close-up look, and then we'll see what we can see, and I'll give you a little bit more information about the vessel while we're here. So let's do it. Well, the vessel has been here since the 21st of March, and what's interesting is, because the vessel was arrested because of apparent non-payment of money that was owed to JP Morgan. However, the owner is a Russian businessman who's currently under sanctions by the EU and the UK. His name is Dmitry Pumpyansky. So with the vessel being arrested in Gibraltar, it means that every yacht has a management company that runs the crew, gives them the crew contracts, does payroll, stuff like that. Because the vessel's owner is under sanctions, that means that any European management company would have had to sever ties with the vessel, and that means that the crew won't get paid, and any payments for, like, let's say the vessel has some issues with engine and they need to get parts, no European-based company who's most likely the builder of the engines or whatever is on board that they want to fix can supply those parts to the vessel, can't take those payments. So the vessel is sat here, it's kind of stranded here because it can't move. I'm not saying there is anything wrong with the vessel, but what I'm saying is that nobody can do business with the vessel because the owner is on EU and UK sanctions. Now, a few days after they arrived, the vessel was alongside and it got into some trouble because the weather was so bad that the vessel was rolling in its where it was moored, and you can see the damage here where the fairing, which is like a filling that goes on top of the metal, and then it's sanded down and painted, and you can see the various layers of it. It was damaged so badly that it smashed the fairing right off, and now all you've got is you can see the metal underneath, which has been damaged, and you can see that they've been working on some of it here and trying to repair some of the damage here, but that is a pretty extensive damage that they've got on the vessel there. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. See, this is another example of you would need to have that looked at in the shipyard to get a proper job done on it, and that's probably why it's just sat there, because they can't get any parts or any equipment. But the other thing is it's very, very quiet, the vessel. Now that does not necessarily mean there's no crew on board. On the contrary, I actually saw some crew leave a little while ago. The most likely scenario is that it's because the vessel's not going anywhere. They're probably working a 5-day week, and it's Saturday today when I'm filming, so it's most likely that they're just having the day off. This vessel was built by Dunya Yachts in Turkey, which is interesting because that's where all the boats are going right now. It's like the safe haven for yachts. And this vessel was actually headed to Turkey when it diverted to come into Gibraltar. It was not on the list of expected arrivals in Gibraltar, even the day before, when I noticed that the vessel had Gibraltar as a destination, and I thought that's odd because it's going to get arrested as soon as it goes in there. They asked for permission that day to go in, and it was granted, and then as soon as the vessel docked, it was boarded by the authorities, as you can see in this footage here that I got from Gibraltar Yachting. And ever since then they've been stuck here, and they're stranded here now. So one of the comments that I see quite regularly is that these vessels are spy vessels, and they've got a lot of equipment on board that's used for spying. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the equipment on this particular vessel, and I'll go through it with you, and I'll show you what they've got and if anything is out of the ordinary. The thing is, this is an area that I'm involved with on super yachts, and I can say that, at least for this vessel, there's nothing out of the ordinary up there on the mast. So what we can see just from here is we can see VSAT and TVRO domes most likely. The upper one being VSAT domes and the lower ones being TV domes. It could be the other way around, but that's the most likely the way it is. That's the way I would expect it to be. Like I said, nothing out of the ordinary. And the thing underneath there that's suspended upside down is a searchlight, the white one, and the black one's a little CCTV camera. And then at the very top of the mast there, you've got some antennas, a wind gauge, and some navigation lights. Like I said, nothing out of the ordinary. 2 radars, usually a X-band on 9 gigahertz and an S-band on 2.4 gigahertz. And then over here we've got some medium frequency and high frequency antennas for radios. Nothing out of the ordinary. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit different for some of the new subscribers on the channel, but for you, some of you OGs that remember what the channel was like before the sanctions and the Russian stuff, this is a little bit more like a return to what I used to do before, even though the subject was still sanctions. But don't worry, I'm still making the news videos. This is just a little diversion. But I hope you enjoyed this format. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you've got any information about the boat, which management company they're using, for instance, that would be interesting. Send it to me through the normal ways, through the About page or the YouTube channel, or through Facebook Messenger. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.